somebody's GoPro on a bike. Oh dear. Just come off someone's bike. Is that yours? No way, good lord. I thought that had come off a motorbike.
Hey guys, welcome to another video, and what weird circumstances we find ourselves in. Quick message, do hope everyone's staying safe, not making any unnecessary journeys. Probably sounds a bit hypocritical considering I'm in the car, but literally not going anywhere, just making a video for you lovely subscribers. But yeah, believe it or not, I've already had this car for 6 months, which, you know, time has just literally flown by. In terms of mileage myself, I've done 4,000 of the 12,000 it's now approaching. I mentioned in a previous video, I tend not to buy cars brand new anymore, but I buy them 6 months old just for that, you know, depreciation hit. But 4,000 miles, plenty of time behind the wheel of this to kind of compare and contrast between the previous cars I've had and just general experiences with the car, running costs, any annoying things, any issues I've found, and just overall the whole experience of owning a C43 AMG. I literally drove an A35 AMG through these roads not too long ago, and straight away you can feel the weight of this. It's not as agile as something like an A35. But yeah, for me, this is a daily car, and it does everything for me in terms of practicality, being quiet and comfortable when I want it to be, which, you know, for most of us, it's like 90% of the time. But, you know, when I do want to experience the AMG aspects, it can do that as well. Typical countryside roads in the UK here. A car like this, it is slightly on the bigger side for it. You know, you can't enjoy it anywhere near as much as a compact, you know, hot hatch, or something like, you know, like my previous CLA 45. And I suppose that's the only thing that kind of lacks with this. The sensation is a bit numb, but you tend to know that before you buy a car like this. You know, I was leaning towards now getting something a bit more practical, a bit more high tech, which, you know, the inside of this is, you know, light years ahead of my previous CLA 45. It's just a really nice place to be and to sit. And off we go. But as I said, you know, these tight twisty roads, not the ideal place for a car like this, but, you know, you can still have a bit of fun. You've got 4MATIC in this, which is rear biased. I think it's, oh, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember. I think it's a 60/40 rear bias. So, you know, you do get some characteristics of a rear wheel drive car. I mean, on this, I've got mixed tyres. I've got factory fitted Continentals up front and Pirellis at the back. So, you know, it does go through rear tyres quicker than front tyres. But, you know, at my last service, there's plenty of tread left. You know, the car's done 12,000, or almost 12,000 miles on its front tyres alone, and, you know, there's still, I think it was, you know, 4 or 5 mil left on the front. So it doesn't eat through tyres. You know, like, you know, if you had like a C63 or something like that, you know, that demolishes rear tyres, as you'd expect for a car of that nature. overall running costs, you know, it's had one service. It was due its service last month. Well, it's actually the beginning of this month by the time I actually got around to doing it. And I had a Mercedes-Benz service care plan, so you know, I pay for that monthly anyway, so I don't really count that as a cost. I pay, I think it's £48 a month. That'll be over 2 years for effectively 3 full services. And I suppose the only other cost is fuel at the minute. I've not had to spend any money on anything else. In general, around town, you know, the overall MPG, you know, I do a mixture of really economic motorway miles and some spirited driving like this. And overall I'm doing, you know, the average between the two is low 20s, but you know, as I've shown in, you know, early videos, I've managed to get 37 miles per gallon out of this on a 300-mile journey, which, you know, for a twin, you know, a bi-turbo V6 is pretty impressive. But on the side of being, you know, like an everyday car, it's done its job, and it's done its job very well. With the things that I've done, you know, to the exterior and things like that, it still gets looked at. I know it's in this boring black, which I generally hate black cars, but in due time I will wrap this car. But you know, even I get people stopping me at traffic lights and whatnot, and you know, they confuse it with a C43. You know, the majority of people wouldn't know the difference between a C43 and a C63. So it's still, you know, it's still got that wow factor that the previous facelift didn't have. Not the previous facelift, you know, the previous model before this facelift. You know, it just looked like an ordinary C-Class. I mean, the conditions today, Sunday, bone dry. Yeah, not gonna lie, I do wish I was in something a bit sportier than this, but as I said, it does the job. And the sound itself, it's not brilliant, but you know, there is sound pumped in through the speakers. But I think that's just what we all have to live with now with cars now because of regulations. So short of doing, you know, doing exhaust modification, ECU remap, something like that, we can't really shy away from that. In terms of pure pace, it's not as, it doesn't hit you in the back like it does in, you know, I had a CLA 45 before this, if you're new to the channel, and it doesn't quite hit you in the back with the acceleration, with its viciousness as that. It's a bit more progressive.
Got somebody's GoPro on a bike. Oh dear. Let's come off someone's bike. Is that yours? No way, good man. I thought that had come off a motorbike.
Yeah, you know what, I'd actually driven like,
here you go,
for 15 minutes for a film that.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks very much, pal.
Oh, me on it now, good.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Nice car.
Thanks very much. Stay safe in this strange time we find ourselves in. Thanks. Right, the camera fell off the car and I must have drove for like a good 10 minutes before I kind of realised. I'm driving back and then some cyclists literally just as I drove up picked it up and noticed this camera. Had been recording the whole time, so lucky escape. As always guys, thanks for watching. If you've got any other questions about the C43 AMG and my ownership of it so far, do let me know down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and stay safe in these troubling times that we find ourselves in. Thanks for watching guys, see ya.